Okay, today's lesson is Chapter 3, Lesson 4, Subtracting Integers. Please make sure you have the objective written. Students will subtract integers and simplify expressions. And please also make sure that you have the date written on your notes. You're going to be doing a lot of writing on this one because I find from our assessment results that you are all, mostly all I should say, kind of struggling in this area. It's not so quick. So let's make sure we get this down now. Subtracting integers. To subtract an integer b from an integer a, we add the opposite of b to a. And so many of you are still not changing subtraction to addition, that's why this is kind of becoming a problem. So if you just would consistently change subtraction to addition, then this would be a little bit easier. So what I want you to write here is subtracting integers. I would like you to write the examples. So these examples show you using letters as well as numbers. So a minus b is the same as a plus negative b. So we have to start seeing that second term in a subtraction problem as negative. 3 minus 4 is the same as 3 plus negative 4. Okay? So if we're not sure with this subtraction again, we need to make sure we change the subtraction to addition and change the term that comes after the subtraction sign to the opposite of what it is. So what's the opposite of 4? Negative 4. Okay? So let's keep going and see how we do with this. Example 1. Make sure again you're writing this down, subtracting integers. Example 1a is 5 minus 7. So we're going to add the opposite of 7. So we're going to 5 plus negative 7. And then you use the same rules that you did for addition. So with addition, what do I have more of, positives or negatives? I have more negatives, so I know my answer is going to be negative. How many more negatives do I have? To figure that out, I have to use subtraction. 7 minus 5 is 2. I have 2 more negatives, so the answer is negative 2. Letter B, negative 6 minus 8. We're going to add the opposite, so we're going to leave negative 6 the same. Add negative 8, the opposite of 8. Okay? So what do I have more of here? Well, they're both the same sign. They're both negatives. Since they're both negatives, I keep a negative sign and I just add them together, 6 and 8. 6 and 8 is 14, so I have negative 14. This is where some of you make a mistake. Some of you would say negative 6 minus 8. Negative 6 minus 8, some of you would say is 2. As you can see, that's not the answer. The answer is negative 14. So since we're still making this mistake, some of you might even say negative 2. Either way, it's wrong. So since we're still making this mistake, I still see this happening, and it's incorrect, and it will be incorrect every time. We really need to get used to changing subtraction to addition, because I think your chances of getting this correct are much better. So let's rewrite it that way. And see, negative 9 minus negative 9. Okay? Some of you might have already said, oh yeah, that's 0. And you're right, it is 0. I would just like to see it as an addition problem. So make sure you're writing negative 9 stays the same. Change the subtraction to addition. Change negative 9 to positive 9. And negative 9 and positive 9 is 0. Okay? And example D, 5 minus negative 1. Keep the 5 the same. Change subtraction to addition. Change negative 1 to the opposite, positive 1, and add. 5 plus 1 is 6. Now, some of you might not have gotten that on this one. 5 minus negative 1, some of you may have said 4. Since I've seen that happen so much, I would really like for us to stop trying to do this in our head so quickly and write it out the opposite way. I told you last year, and I'll tell you again, one of the ways you can do this, there's a couple ways you can think about this. One way is, because I have this minus next to this parenthesis and another minus. Parentheses mean multiply. Well, if you multiply a negative times a negative, it's a positive. So I know this really means 5 plus 1. Another way you can think of it is, let me do it again. Think of this negative sign crawling over here and joining that negative sign to make it positive. And now it's gone, and we have 5 plus 1. That's another way you can think of it. And that's the way I thought of it when I was your age, because that little cartoon of imagining that negative sign going over to join that other negative sign to become positive, that made it clear to me. Okay? Next. Example 2. What if we have more than one integer? This is where some of you get confused, I know, but we need to change all of them. So write example 2, subtracting more than one integer. Write letter A, negative 3 minus 5 minus 2. And now we're going to change all of the subtraction to addition. And every time you change it to addition, you're going to change the number that comes after the sign, after the operation, to the opposite of what it is. So, we have negative 3, stays the same. Change the subtraction to addition. Change 5 to negative 5. Change subtraction to addition. Change 2 to negative 2. And now since they're all negative, we're going to add them all together and make the answer also negative. So the result is negative. 3 plus 5 is 8, and 8 plus 2 is 10. So the result is negative 10. Letter B, negative 8 minus 7 minus negative 8. So again, we're going to take our negative 8, leave it the same, change this subtraction to addition, change 7 to negative 7. Change subtraction again to addition, change negative 8 to positive 8. I'm going to rewrite this to show you how I would do it instead of doing all of it at once. So now I have negative 8 plus negative 7 plus positive 8. I can either leave my negatives together and add my negatives and then subtract my positive, or I can put negative 8 with positive 8 because I know that's going to be 0. So I'm going to use the commutative property of addition to change the order. Negative 8 plus 8, put that together, associative property, plus, and then my negative 7 over here on its own. So I know negative 8 plus 8 is 0, plus negative 7. 0 plus negative 7 is just negative 7. So then I have my answer, negative 7. Example 3, identifying terms. We're identifying the terms in A, 2x minus 4. Let's do that one first. So, the expression, I have a table over here, and I'm just going to draw a line so you can see that this is just a table. I've made a table here to organize the information. Okay? So, here's my information organized. So, 2x minus 4. What's the expression? The expression is 2x minus 4. What's an equivalent sum? Remember, sum means add. This means add. So that means I'm changing my expression to an addition problem. So changing 2x minus 4 to addition, it's going to become 2x plus, and the opposite of 4, negative 4. And then what are the terms in this addition problem? The terms are 2x and negative 4. And B, negative 3x minus negative 2x plus 5. So the expression, negative 3x minus negative 2x plus 5. Change it to addition. Negative 3x remains the same. Subtraction changes to addition. So negative 2x becomes positive 2x. Subtraction changes to addition. So 5, this is, oh, it already was addition, I'm sorry. It already was addition of 5. So it stays the same, addition of 5. My mistake. If it's already addition, you don't change it to subtraction, you leave it addition. And the terms of that problem are negative 3x, 2x, and 5. So basically, if you remember your vocabulary of terms, terms are the combination of numbers and variables that are separated by an operation. So here's the operation. Plus, plus, those are the operations. What variables and numbers are separated by those operations? We have 3x, negative 3x, we have 2x, and we have 5. So those are the terms. Example 4, simplifying before evaluating. So when we simplify, remember we're combining like terms. So we have 11x minus 2x plus 3. We write the original equation. Now we're going to use the rule for subtraction. I have subtraction here. I want to change that subtraction to addition. So if I change that to addition, then I have to change 2x to the opposite, negative 2x. Okay? And the 3 is already being added, so we just leave it as addition. So that's the subtraction rule. Next, I combine my like terms. What are my like terms? Well, what are the terms? The terms are 11x, negative 2x, and 3. Which ones are alike? 11x and negative 2x are alike. So all I have that's alike are these two terms here. So those are the ones that I can combine. I cannot combine the other because it doesn't have x. So what is 11 plus negative 2? 11 plus negative 2 is 9. So we have 9x plus 3. Now that we've combined like terms, there's nothing else we can do with this. That's how it stays. Okay? Here's your guided practice. Number 1. I'm highlighting this just to remind you, please write down the problem as well as the answer. 3 minus negative 5. So we're going to first change the subtraction to addition, and then we're going to change the negative 5 to the opposite of what it is. So the opposite of negative 5 is just 5, and 3 plus 5 is 8. So we should have gotten an answer of 8. Okay? Number 2, negative 4 minus negative 4. Write the problem. And then the answer, minus 4. Change subtraction to addition. Change negative 4 to positive 4. So now I have negative 4 plus positive 4. When we have different signs, a negative and a positive, we actually subtract them. 4 minus 4 is 0. And 0 is neither positive nor negative, so our answer is just 0. Number 3, 5 minus 3. I know you know what that answer is, but please, just for the habit of it, let's change the subtraction to addition. 3 becomes the opposite of 3, which is negative 3. I also need you to get into the habit, please, of using these parentheses. All right? This helps us not write our numbers together. For instance, if I didn't use the parentheses, it would look like this. Now that looks kind of funny, plus minus, together like that. So we use parentheses to help keep them separate. So please get in the habit of using those parentheses. 5 plus negative 3. I have a positive and a negative, so I subtract. 5 minus 3 is 2. What do I have more of, positives or negatives? I have 5 positives, 3 negatives. I have more positives, so it's positive 2. Number 4, 9 minus 12. 9 plus, change subtraction to addition, change positive 12 to negative 12. I have different signs. I have a positive, 9, and a negative, 12. Subtract them. 12 minus 9 is 3. Positive 3 or negative 3? Well, let's decide. What do I have more of, positives or negatives? I have more negatives. So the answer is negative 3. Number 5, negative 6 minus negative 2. Negative 6, change subtraction to addition, change negative 2 to positive 2. Now I have different signs. I have a negative and a positive. Negative, positive. So I subtract. 6 minus 2 is 4. Is 4 negative or positive? What do I have more of? I have more negatives. So 4 is negative. Next. Negative 9 minus 5. Negative 9, change subtraction to addition, change 5 to negative 5. They're both negatives. Since they're both negatives, I add them together. 9 plus 5 is 14. Since they're both negatives, my answer is also negative. Seven minus negative 3, change subtraction to addition, change negative 3 to the opposite. 7 plus 3, 10. Negative 2 minus 11, negative 2, change subtraction to addition, change 11 to negative 11. They're both negative, so I just add them together. 2 plus 11 is 13, and since they're both negative, my answer is also negative. (6x minus 3x plus 5). Change subtraction to addition. Change the next term to the opposite, so 3x becomes negative 3x plus 5. That's already addition, so we just leave it the way it is. Combine like terms. 6 plus negative 3. Those are like terms because they both have x. 6 plus negative 3. Well, the difference between 6 and 3 is 3. Is it positive or negative? It's positive because there's more positives. Okay, so of course we don't write that, so we're just going to leave it the way it is, 3x plus 5. You cannot combine 3x and 5 because they are not like terms. So this is your answer, 3x plus 5. Oh, 3 is 3, we didn't say that. I apologize. So, what they're saying is x equals 3. They didn't tell, I didn't see that, so I apologize, my fault. So that's where this came from. X apparently equals 3. So if x equals 3, now we substitute. 3 for x, 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 plus 5 is 14. That's where this came from. For what I did here, this would be your answer here, right? So for the next one, we'll say x is 3, okay? So for number 10, let's not forget that x equals 3, okay? So first, let's change subtraction to addition. Let's change this to the opposite. It's negative. We're going to make it positive 2x. Change subtraction to addition. Make this the opposite. So instead of 3, we have negative 3. Combine like terms. 7x plus 2x, 9x. Write the rest of the problem plus negative 3. If x equals 3, so now we substitute the x for 3. So instead of x here, we write 3. Here we have multiplication and addition. In the order of operations, multiplication comes first. So we'll do the multiplication first, and then we'll do the addition second. 27 plus negative 3 is 24. Okay? There we go. 24 is the answer. Here again, 10x, change subtraction to addition, change 3x to the opposite of what it is, negative 3x, and plus 4. Combine like terms. 10 plus negative 3 is 7, x plus 4. Substitute x for 3, x is 3. Again, multiplication comes before addition. So 7 times 3 is 21. 21 plus 4 is 25. So your final answer is 25. And we're done for today. Thank you very much. You all have a lovely evening and be prepared to take a quiz tomorrow. Thank you.